Joining us now, Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, member of the Foreign Relations and Judiciary Committee. So, Senator, you were in there 13 hours yesterday. I think at this point, another 6 hours or so far today. And Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson calmly, clearly attempted at least to answer questions. She was repeatedly stopped from answering by Lindsey Graham, by Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz, delaying your questioning because he was demanding more time. What is your take on what you saw yesterday and today? And why should the American people think there's value in this? What did they learn about a woman who's nominated to one of the most important, influential positions in the country, but who was repeatedly interrupted?
Well, Chris, what I'm seeing is someone who is handling this marathon, this exceptional process with grace and humility. Her answers are giving the American people some insight into her intellect. I have tried to lift up through letters I've read and through questions I've asked about her experience on the Sentencing Commission as a district court judge, as a circuit court judge, as a court clerk, to help the American people understand the breadth and reach and depth of her legal experience, her exceptional qualifications and credentials, but also the ways in which the story of her family, the arc of her life, and the remarkable journey that she's undergone in her life will also allow her to make special contributions to this Supreme Court. A number of my Republican colleagues have questioned her in respectful and appropriate ways, exploring her judicial philosophy or her decisional record, and a number of others haven't. There have been brusque, rude, abrasive lines of questioning in which she's been harried and harassed and interrupted. Chairman Durbin has done his absolute best to maintain decorum and to keep us focused on the issue at hand. I sit on the committee immediately following Senator Cruz, and so my questioning yesterday and my questioning today followed his. In both cases, I've tried to help redirect towards the issues that are in front of us: her record, her experience, her qualifications. There's a number of policy issues that senators have tried to force her to answer, but as has long been the case, it's not appropriate for a nominee to the Supreme Court to weigh in on undecided policy matters. That's what belongs to senators and to Congress, not to judges.
I want to ask you about a couple of other big stories that are happening right now. Right now, the president just landed in Brussels, but also it's at a time when bodies are piling up. The suffering is escalating exponentially. And the U.S. now acknowledges war crimes have been committed. So even with NATO leaders announcing plans to deploy more troops, we know there are going to be more sanctions coming. What we hear from many on the Ukrainian side, the suggestion that while they're grateful, it's not enough. That even maybe what's coming is more symbolic than effective at stopping the carnage in Ukraine. How do you see this meeting that's happening in Brussels, and what more can the United States do?
First, our assistance is much more than symbolic. The Biden administration has provided nearly $2 billion in military hardware and assistance, both before and since the Russians have commenced their brutal invasion of Ukraine. We've sent them Stinger missiles, Javelin anti-tank missiles, advanced air defense systems, as well as a huge amount of ammunition and small arms and other material. And we're providing billions of dollars in humanitarian assistance to combat hunger and to support the refugees pouring into Eastern Europe. President Biden has deployed a number of American troops, I think now more than 12,000, so that there are more American combat troops in Europe now than at any point since the conclusion of the Cold War. This meeting is critically important. A number of my colleagues here in the Congress are trying to litigate or set policy for this war in Ukraine. Our president is our commander-in-chief, and the thing he has done best is to pull together our NATO allies and our European partners in a united voice, imposing harsh, prompt sanctions on Russia and the oligarchs who support Vladimir Putin, and providing military assistance. Look, Chris, even countries like Switzerland and Sweden that sat out the Second World War, they were neutral when Hitler invaded Poland. They've joined in providing both material support to Ukraine and in joining in these sanctions. And to get the Swiss to join in banking sanctions was no small feat. So these meetings are critical this week. We have to have unity in NATO to deter Putin and to send a more forceful message that what he is doing to devastate cities and to attack civilians is utterly unacceptable.
Senator Chris Coons, we thank you for taking the time away from the hearing, and with so much else going on, we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.